Okay, everybody. Hi, this is BDevine. I hope that this finds you in an awesome place. If not, this is going to help you get there. Today, I am going to be talking about thresholds and guardians and what this really means for us as we are progressing on our flame journey. After so many years, decades of doing spiritual work, it is time now that we lift ourselves into a different era. And I hope that you will stick around and learn what this could mean for you. As always, I am going to share some pretty interesting things for us for the journey. I also have webinars once a month for patrons who are part of the Flame tier. And this month we are doing the Temple of the Black Mirror and opening Vault 111. Now, this hasn't been opened publicly before, so it is going to be so interesting and so much more that we will be doing. So if you are interested in much more learning, I really highly recommend the Patreon Flame tier. Now, if you want to work with me personally, there will be links below, but I would absolutely recommend to start your flame journey by doing the free Flame Foundation course. Okay, that will all be in the comments below for you. All right, so getting on to today's message. All right, I'm excited. We are talking about guardians and the strength that they have, but also thresholds. Okay, I made a short video the other day on the guardians and how they guide us and guard our energy fiercely as we are stepping through thresholds in our life, and especially helping us not to waver back into old patterns. So after I made this, I thought I would look up in my Dictionary of Symbols book, which is by J.E. Solo. Do not know if you can still get this book. You may be able to get the ebook. And actually, if you're on Patreon, I will add the ebook for you. Okay? May not be exactly the same as what I have, though. I can't guarantee that. This was written in 1962, so quite a long time ago. Now, I decided to see if the word guardian and the word threshold would actually be in here. Oh my God. Okay, so I have to read this to you. So this is extremely important. Okay. You're going to understand a little bit better after this. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay. Now, oh, here we are. All right, guardians. Okay, reading directly from the book for you. Just as the powers of the earth must be defended, so by analogy must all mythic, religious, and spiritual wealth or power be protected against hostile forces or against possible intrusion by the unworthy. Okay, so hear this, the guardian. Just as the powers of the earth must be defended, by analogy, must all mythic, religious, and spiritual wealth or power be protected against hostile forces or against possible intrusion by the unworthy. Hence, the familiarity of the keeper of the treasure. In legends, almost invariably, this guardian is a griffin or dragon, or else a warrior endowed with superhuman powers. In temples, the idea of defense is implicit in the spatial organization and confirmed by the disposition of the walls, the doors, and towers. In the Far East, the guardians are usually fabulous monsters. In Western countries, the same function may be performed by the figures inscribed on doorways, right? Green man, a knocker, right? wolf, whatever, this, from the psychological point of view. So we always look at the spiritual and the psychological point of view, okay? Guardians symbolize the forces gathered on the threshold of transition between different stages of evolution and spiritual progress, oh my God, or regression. So the guardian of the threshold, literally the words I used in my video, must be overcome before man can enter into the mastery of a higher realm. See how powerful that is? So just as things need to be protected on earth, we need to be protected in order to experience mastery. We also need to step past any obstruction and walk through that threshold into change, which led me to look up threshold. Okay. Why not? It may be here, right? So I did. Oh my God. Now, I'm not going to read this whole thing because it's very long, but QRST, do you do that as well? Like, you know, you're trying to find something and you start doing the alphabet? Okay. Threshold. Here it is. Okay, there's a little bit here. It's not that bad. All right. Threshold, a symbol of transition and transcendence. In architectural symbolism, the threshold is always given a special significance by the elaboration and enrichment of its structure by means of porches, perrons, porticos, triumphal arches, battlements, etc., or by a symbolic ornamentation of the kind which, in the West, finds its finest expression in the Christian cathedrals with its sculptured mullions, jambs, archivolts, lintels, and tympana. Hence, the function of the threshold is clearly to symbolize both the reconciliation and the separation of two worlds, of the profane and the sacred. In the East, the function of protecting and warning is affected by the keepers of the threshold, dragons and effigies of gods or spirits. The Roman god Janus also denoted this dualism characteristic of the threshold, which can be related analogically to all other forms of duality. Hence the tendency to speak of the threshold between waking and sleeping. And in a spiritual sense, waking up to who you really are or staying asleep in the old ways. This is why we're being pushed, isn't that? Look, I know I'm a bit of a book nerd. I know this. I know not everybody thinks in the same way that I do. And I don't, you know, that's great. Okay. We're all to each our own, right? As we are moving through our journey, this is why I keep on telling you that it's extremely important that you're not falling back. You've got to be entering into different thresholds and developing your mastery as you go forward. So it's like when you are challenged by something, or negative forces, or you know, having a bad day, or someone's just driving you crazy, right? You're challenged in those positions. It becomes like a compressing feeling. And when you give in to that and say, well, you know what, I'm going to give you a piece of my mind, you are literally giving that person a piece of you. No more. We start to change our reaction, center ourselves up, realize it's a distorted distraction, and step through that threshold with our guardians keeping us in a rhythm if we listen. So Get yourself something that brings you steadiness. For me, it's a piece of obsidian. Any crystal will do. Just so you can sort of anchor yourself with something physical as you're listening. Also, as I always do, have a pen and paper handy. So today is not about anything other than thresholds and guardians. So the moment your life demands a new level of truth and guardian strength, the capacity to stay sovereign when the field gets loud. The moment everyone's arguing, right? There's all this thing. You can either sit and watch the news, sit and chime in, watch the videos, listen to the BS, or focus, center, focus, center. Threshold is not a punishment, it's a crossing. It's something we have to get past. It's like you're having these life lessons, okay? And then you, or even the game, playing a game, right? You go through levels, right? Why is there always a boss at the end of every game level? You have to fight past. You have to always be able to see your worth before you can move forward, advance, right? It's the same with all these things. So we set an intention. May everything false fall away without drama. May everything that's true become simple, visible, and strong. And may your guardianship of your own life return to full authority. So a flame threshold is a point where your old coping strategies stop working. Your tolerance drops. Your inner truth becomes louder than your social conditioning. Your threshold is your soul's limit for self-betrayal. When you hit it, you can't unknow what you know. You can't keep doing the same things to yourself, or you won't pass through the threshold into the next part of the journey where things are easier. And then that will have its own challenge, and then you'll go through the next thing and the next thing. And you get stronger and stronger as you advance. Okay? And the guardians are right there, kicking you up the butt. That's that voice that says, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Why are you worrying about that? Is this really worth it? Are you really going to get really angry about this? Are you really going to let that person have power over you? Why aren't you just shutting it down? Why don't you start right now? Why are you waiting for the perfect time? Why do you care what somebody else thinks of you? Why are you always stopping your progress? Why do you always give so much to everybody else? Why don't you give yourself a break? It's time to rest. These are the words, punchy words that come. When you're just about to do something stupid or repeat something or forget yourself or get entangled with, you can always hear, what are you worried about this for? You can always hear it. We just don't always listen. So this is the point. Your threshold is your soul's limit for self-betrayal. When you hit it, you can't go back to that old way of doing things anymore. You can't keep explaining yourself. You can't keep staying quiet and keeping the peace. You can't keep healing the same thing without changing the behavior and looking at it again and again. You can't keep being in rooms that require you to shrink. So some also people call it spiritual attack. Most of the time, it's just the nervous system reacting and refusing to live a lie, so it starts going haywire. Right. Some things will show you that you're crossing these thresholds. You might suddenly get drained after conversations. You might find yourself getting irritated at things that you used to tolerate. Right? And when you don't tolerate it anymore and you see it come up, you're like, yuck, what was I doing? right? Your sleep might shift. You might have vivid dreams. There might be some buzzing or some vibrational energy as well. You also might crave that alone time, cleansing yourself, just things being simple. You might also be more sensitive to false sweetness or performances, people pretending it's not going to wash. And I can't do this anymore is going to rise from your chest. So this isn't you getting worse. This is you getting less available to distortion. So maybe you could write something down like, hang on a second. I have so many pages that, right, so we're going to write down, what am I no longer willing to tolerate? Okay? What am I no longer willing to tolerate? Don't censor it. Don't spiritualize it. Just tell the truth. What am I no longer willing to tolerate? People's BS. What am I no longer willing to tolerate? Anyone's lies. Can't see right through it straight away. What am I no longer willing to tolerate? Someone who wastes my time. No, that's just for me. You might give you some ideas though, right? No longer willing to tolerate abuse. No longer willing to tolerate lies, betrayal, restrictions, looping, spiraling, people's problems out of nowhere, people's drama out of nowhere, people's complaints out of nowhere. Not talking about, for myself personally, if you're working with me, literally you're going to have to tell me what your complaints are. That's part of me. I just mean, if I see someone complaining on Facebook and it's just, constantly, poor me, I'm a victim, I need someone to respond to this right now, or just playing games, right? I cannot stand it. It's gone. The person's gone. I don't care how much I even like the person. I can't watch it. I can't look. I can't follow. I don't want to know. That's a big change for me, because before I would just ignore it. Well, now I don't even want it around anywhere near me, right? This shows that you're lifting up, that you're going in over those thresholds into change that you're looking for. So don't censor anything. This is your private list, right? It's just that obviously I'm going to tell you some stuff that's on mine. Don't censor it, don't spirit, just be really, really honest, right, with yourself. Okay. So 3 threshold levels, okay, that you can sort of locate yourselves. The discomfort threshold. Okay. So this looks like you feel a tug, but you still negotiate. You know, but you're stalling. This is where procrastination masquerades as discernment. So sometimes we will think to ourselves, well, I'll just wait until I know for sure. I'll just wait until the timing is right. I'll just wait until everything balances out. I'll just wait because there's too many people doing it right now. I'll just wait because I'm going to get lost in the fog. I'll just wait because my job pays me really well, and right? So this is a discomfort threshold where stepping through something causes you unease, which is actually a big lesson for you, right? It's a big thing if you can still step through that. So that's a massive one. Okay, level 2, the integrity threshold, right? So this is when your body just starts refusing Your mind still be like, what's going on? Anxiety will increase when you ignore the truth. Anxiety is such a waste of time. You're literally anxious about being anxious. You're worried, which turns into a nervous reaction in your body because you are trying to anticipate a problem, an issue, a stoppage, a concern, a fight before it happens. So your body goes into reactory mode, right? Your body gets ready for battle, okay? When there may not even be a freaking battle at all. But this is how anxiety works. It's a fear of something that hasn't even happened. It's a fear of even getting anxiety when you're out. So then you're driving yourself crazy before you've even opened the door. When you're ignoring your truth, when you're ignoring the patterning, okay, your anxiety will increase. So stop feeding things that are useless to you. Bring yourself back to center. Your integrity threshold happens when you're pulled towards boundaries and cleaning things up. Your system starts enforcing what your mind is avoiding. All right? Your system takes over a little bit. And you start saying, no, I don't do that anymore. I'm not offering that anymore. Or this is the new path that I'm on. Your boundary might be something like when you say no, you mean it. Or if you say yes, okay, you also mean that. There is no arguing either way. And it's interesting because sometimes your mouth will just say stuff and you're like, oh my God, I never say things like that, right? And then you've got to sort of stop yourself from then panicking about how that looks. You know, you have to be honest. The level 3 is the sovereignty threshold. So the old timeline collapses fast. Relationships, work structures, identity masks fall away. You stop bargaining, right? This is where you stop needing anyone's permission. You stop waiting for the right time. You're just doing it. I don't like that, so I'm collapsing it. So if you had to name your current threshold, 1, 2, or 3, what would it be? And what is one behavior to change to help you cross easily? So the one is feeling uncomfortable, feeling a tug. You know what you need to do, but you're still not doing it. You know, but you stall, right? So is that yours? Number 2 is the body starts refusing. You start getting anxious. You're pulled towards changing this and creating really strong boundaries. And then your system is enforcing what your mind avoids. So your body wants to do this. You might even say things you don't even recognize coming out, right? But there's more to come because there's still a little bit of nervousness, anxiety in there about it, right? So that might be number 2. Or number 3, the sovereignty one, where this is where you might be at, where you can collapse things fast, things fall away, you stop bargaining, you stop needing permission. I'm definitely at that level for me. There are still some things that come up in my life where I'm like, well, how am I going to explain that? Or I feel pressured to do this or whatever. And so I know that it's a no. Or with the how can I explain, it would be it will come. So my first little jittery thing, but then it's done. So the one thing also here, with guardian strength is that we're not fighting enemies, right? It's clarity even when you're under pressure. It's boundaries without that, oh my God, right? It's attention discipline. You're really disciplined to really watch what you're threading out there, what you're holding on to, what you're looping with, right? You're really, really guided to do this. So spiritual teachers will say, you know, the angels will do that for you. No, they won't. The angels won't do anything for you unless you do something for yourself. They work with your forward movement, something I've always taught you. Working with your forward movement. Even in the Bible it says God helps those who help themselves. Why do you think that is? Because he can't orchestrate just making everything happen for every single person exactly how they want it without you learning any lessons. Otherwise, what is the point of being here? The point of being here is to develop mastery. Okay? Through all the other lifetimes you've had, if you had already developed mastery, you wouldn't have come back here. There's something that you need here. There's something that you're finding here. And I hope for you that it's your origin blueprint, which you've probably been looking for or trying to remember lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. That's how well you hid it. So, boundaries without guilt, attention discipline, staying in your own field. Pretty simple, but also challenging. Refusing to feed what drains you. Guardian strength is the ability to remain unhookable. You don't have to win every argument. You just have to not be pulled into anything. No, I'm not talking about that. No, I'm not going to go there. No, not interested. And in the past, you might have said, let me explain. Look, that's not what I meant. Oh my God, you've got it all wrong. Now it's like, nah, well, you can take it that way if you want to, but that's not what I meant. You can waste your time if you want to, trying to figure that out, but I've already explained it. Right? So, you have to not be pulled. Right? I know this sounds difficult, but it's really not, because the more you do it, checking yourself, right? Centering yourself. Breathing in. Hold, breathe out. Doing that 3 times. Breathing in. Hold, breathe out. The more you do these things, okay, now I'm centered. All right, where's all this BS open here? What am I thinking about right now? Whatever. Got anything on my mind other than what I'm literally doing? For me, no, I'm excited to tell you this, right? But I have seen people try to think about all of these things all of the time, all over the place, right? And then they wonder why they're exhausted. They wonder why they're drained. They wonder why all they want to do is sleep and hide. Because you've literally spread yourself so thin energetically and you're still trying to function well in the middle of it. Was all that worth it? No. Right, so the 4 pillars of guardian strength. Nervous system authority. Take your power back from all directions of time and space and put up your flame firewalls and your mirror walls. Simple. Attention hygiene. Checking in. Where's my mind going? Should I be watching this? Is this worth it? Do I really have to comment? Is this really something that I need to be worried, concerned, stressed about, or will that give that thing that I don't want more power? Yes, it does. Attention equals power. Use it for yourself, right? Boundary speech. I'll take you through some more, but boundaries. No, thank you. No, it's still a no for me. I'm not interested. Thank you for telling me again, but I'm still not interested. No, thank you. I don't want to hear that. This is what you do or you don't. Take it or leave it. I had to say that to someone the other day. Just take it or leave it. Like, here's the message. Here's some guidance. Take it or leave it. Simple as that. Right, so if your nervous system is fried, everything can feel urgent. Okay? When you're regulated, It doesn't. You're centered. Everything, you can tell what's real, you can tell what's not, you can not absorb, you're not holding on to density. Right, so we're going to do the threshold breath, and I'm not going to take you through 7 rounds of it. We're going to do 3 rounds of this. All right, so all we have to do is to ignite yourself into your flame breath. Is you always put one on your chest, one on your belly, one hand. You can put your feet up there if you can. All right, so we inhale through our nose for 4. We hold for 2. Now this time we're going to exhale for 8. Now, when we do a long exhale, it commands a signal to your system. You're not begging life to calm down. You're actually literally telling your system, I'm safe now. Okay? So, in for 4. Hold for 2. Out for 8. Okay, one more time. In for 4. Hold for 2. Out for 8. Now, you can do that for 7 rounds if you need to. But just doing it 3 times with intent, okay, structure, teaching yourself how to center yourself, everything starts coming to you then. Right, so now you ask yourself, you can write this down, what is the cleanest next step? What is the cleanest next step? What do I got to do next? What's the cleanest? Meaning, what is not coming from panic? What's not coming from anxiety? It's not coming from stress. It's not coming from pressure. What do you want to do? Next step. What is the cleanest next step? For me, is to continue in balance. Not to say that I'm not challenged, okay? I just don't talk about any of my challenges unless I'm telling you a story in order for you to overcome something, right? I'm never there for a whinge or whatever, or to vent even. Just to explain something to you so that you know you're not alone. That's how it does. Okay, so a little bit here about the black mirror. I'm going to be teaching about this. It's really important. So we have our mirrors and all this. So the black mirror isn't dark. It is honest. Okay. Doesn't flatter you. It shows you what's true, what's leaking, and what's looping. 3 things the mirror will reveal. It will show you where you are performing instead of living, where you're performing, going through the paces, doing what you feel you have to do, where you're performing. The second part it will show you is, and there's more than this, but I'm just going to give you 3. This is where you leak. So attention, time, emotion. Attention, time, emotion. Where are you leaking? And where you bargain with what you already know. So it might be something, if something requires you to abandon yourself, it's not your path, no matter how spiritual it sounds, right? If someone wants you to do something exciting with them, but it doesn't feel right for you, then don't do it. It doesn't matter how exciting they're making it sound. Something's telling you it's not right, right? So you ask yourself, where am I bargaining with my own knowing? And What would it look like for you if you stop negotiating all of the time? One thing that might be helpful to you is to sort of ask yourself, why is everyone more important than I am? When did that happen? When did that begin? Right? Why do I let that occur as well? Okay, so this is a very quick mirror wall and firewall. So again, you imagine a mirror surface and you stretch your arms out so it's right in front of you, okay, all the way around. And it reflects anything false back to its source, okay? And it's nothing to do with you. It will require no effort at all. And then around your field, you imagine a soft golden firewall around you, of course, about 1 to 2 feet out from you. It's just there. Firewall on. Put it around your animals. Put it around your property. Put it around the home, thresholds, you name it. And then we say, I revoke access to my attention. I close all open loops. I return my energy to my body. Only truth remains, only truth enters. You don't need to fight, you need to seal, right? Oops. So you're putting up your protection. You're monitoring what you're accepting into your field, right? You're closely looking at what you're paying attention to, whether it's worth your time or energy, where the self-doubt comes from, where the procrastination comes from, why you can't say no when you really want to, why you say yes when your body's exhausted, right? And you start to have a bit more strength because you're connecting more with your guardians then, who want you to advance to those next levels, right? So, answer number 1. Someone asks you to do something, that doesn't work for me. If you're closing a loop, I'm complete with this. If there's no more negotiation, I've made my decision. And it's still a no for me. Right. Protecting time. I'm unavailable for that. And that's the end of it. If people keep on pressing you, no, I'm unavailable for that. It has nothing to do with whether I like you or not. But if you keep on going, I'm unavailable for that. Okay. Script 5. No emotional labor discount. So I'm not available to process this repeatedly. This is a good one for me. This is why my voice went. Sometimes people come back. It's happened. It doesn't happen as much lately, but it used to happen over the years where, we would go over the same process quite a lot of times. And as much as I would encourage someone and give them things to go on with and all of that, I had to learn a very long time ago that it wasn't my job to be fixing everything or ever really, but it wasn't my job to continue to try if the person was only there for attention or repetition, or that they weren't using the tools given to them, but they wanted to be able to continue to have someone to bounce off of, right? So my process now is we do this is what we're doing, and then it's up to you. You come for a consultation, here's the outline, now it's up to you. So when I do a phone call, you don't just get a phone call, right? I am writing down literally notes the entire time that we're talking about things that you might not realize you're saying or whatever it is. and coming up with a plan for you, right? So I put all my time and effort into that for you also. But if you do it, it's a bonus because you will heal, you will change, things will shift. If you don't, nothing happens, and that's on you, you see? So I'm not available to process things repeatedly. The same used to happen for readings. Someone will come with the same question. No, we don't keep on doing the same question. You shouldn't really look at the same theme for 4 months in between, even if you have to, right? But you can't repeatedly go over something and then expect suddenly something, someone, something will slip in to all of this churning and fix it. Just not going to happen. So we're not available to process things repeatedly. We are here to do things, to say things, to guide without apology. Now, again, not being nasty to people or whatever, but really, really guarding your energy, because after all, no one has taught you so far how to do that actually. Maybe they've taught you how to ask for help. Maybe they've taught you to look outside of yourself. Maybe, some people do teach your spirit guides and your angels will fix everything, and they just don't. It's just not their role. So guardian strength is often just one sentence said once without apology. I'm just not available to process this repeatedly. So here's some things to write down. My current threshold is, okay, where are you standing? Okay, we've done this now. The pattern that you end today. The pattern I end today. Okay? The clean action I take in the next 24 hours. Okay, so you have to kind of hold yourself to task a little bit, right? So you might say, well, if that person messages me, I'm just going to say no more. Well, do it, right? The clean action, because what you're doing by challenging yourself a little bit like this and by shifting things around like you normally wouldn't, is you come into the strength that you're looking for. You start to see your worth instead of waiting for others to notice it. You start to challenge yourself to do things in a different way, right? For your own benefit, not really worrying about whether it benefits everybody, but knowing that as you change yourself, it has that absolute ripple effect. You're helping them more by putting the oxygen on yourself first, right? Isn't that what they say? Before you try to help anybody else, get that oxygen mask on you and then you can help, right? So you've got to be able to breathe, focus, intent. Now, I notice that sometimes what happens to people is as soon as they're doing all this, right, going along with it, yep, but as soon as some drama happens, as soon as something physical happens, as soon as there's some kind of big whammy, they forget everything that they were just taught and go straight to the old ways. So what that means is every time there is a fear reaction in your life, you're back at the drawing board because you still didn't learn from that. So you've got to really, really integrate a lot of this. Sometimes it takes a minute, right? Your guardians aren't here to carry your life for you. They're here to strengthen your authority so you can hold your own power without leaking. The message has always been to create a miracle for yourself. That's always been the message, right? May your field be clean. May your mind be quiet. May your choices be sharp. And may your next threshold be crossed over without any fear. So we've already looked at this. What's our biggest leak? What's the pattern that you can't tolerate anymore? And where do you feel that threshold also in your body? Is it the throat? Is it the chest? Is it the gut? Okay. As we start to work with vaults and energies like this in these bigger webinars that I don't do here for everyone, they have to be a concentrated energy, and I do those through unlisted YouTube live, but patrons get all the links and information and journals and PDFs and all kinds of things to support them, because those people are pushing the energy towards these next levels, right? But I will tell you that as we're going along, I am going to try to help you as much as I can to be the best version of yourself. And there will be some hints at things that open up here. Once we start to understand about the thresholds of our life, how this is something that's actually literally in history, where there were always guardians for thresholds. You see guardians at entrances of things, like, so you're about to walk into a Chinese restaurant. What do we got? We got two big old lions there, or they're Fu lions, I think, protecting the space as you walk in to the, so you're walking from not having something to eat or not having an experience to then seeing these, you know, the beings sitting there at the front, the statues, and then going ooh, and walking through up over the threshold into another experience, right? So this is very believed for a super long time. So it works with property, it works with your finances, where you could put guardians at, you know, the energetic levels. You could put guardians over your work, over your YouTube and Facebook and all those things. You could put your mirror wall onto all of those things as well, and really start to concentrate your energy on what the hell you're doing here, right? I see and talk with some people that speak of things as, well, I'm going to have to wait 20 years. I'm going to have to wait this long. I'm going to have to wait that long. So they're telling themselves that the process is a really long one. There's no way to speed it up, and I'm just going to have to wait. And that's not how this works. We draw towards us that which we're looking for by cutting off the unnecessary excess so that we can lift ourselves easier up the mountain, right, to our goals. Why would we want to make it harder for ourselves? The pattern you can't tolerate anymore, the biggest leak, and where you're feeling these thresholds in your body, and understanding that your guardians are there. They may look different for you than they do for me. They're different for spaces than they are for other things. So it's just a very, very powerful and grounding thing that we have this knowledge of. So I hope this has helped you today to understand where you're at, right? What's going on for you. If you want abilities to awaken, if you want all of those codes that you have inside of you to unlock, this is the key to do it, is activating yourself into your mastery, understanding your own crap that you do to yourself, breaking free without needing a psychologist or tablets or things that will further block you, right? Now, again, not saying that if you need to speak to someone, that you go speak to them. If you need these things, go do it, right? However, what if there's a way out of all of those cycles? That's what will happen when you start to gain mastery of your brain, of your mind, of your body, of your soul, of your energy field. And things will start to happen to you that will bring you into sense, right? Bring you into strength, bring you into a change, bring you into health, everything. Okay, so hopefully this was helpful. Let me know. Of course, also what you'd be interested in knowing more of. I can help you with just about anything and any topic that there is. So let me know. Until the next time, talk to you soon. Bye for now.